the criticism that feels like they're really analyzing you and like breaking you down as a person, and then like taking something that you're insecure about and then like basically providing proof that it's true, you know? It's just like...
Or like you agree with them?
Yes.
Do you ever get that one?
Yep.
You read one, you're like, yeah, they're right about that.
Yep.
I am like that. It's the worst
Yeah, that one like
in the
hurts.
world.
Yeah.
It's the worst feeling in the world. So, Elle Mills, YouTuber, goodbye. Elle Mills, writer, director, hello.
Yes.
How does that feel?
It feels good. I feel like definitely I'm still in a weird transitionary phase of my career, but I feel good about the direction I'm heading.
I want to build the case for sort of like how we got to this moment, if that's okay with you.
For sure.
And obviously, if there's anything you don't want to talk about, just, punch me in the face or something like that.
Great.
But, or let me know.
Yes.
When did you realize that making videos in general brought you joy?
Brought me joy?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I've been making videos ever since I was a little kid. And I feel like I grew up when YouTube was, I think YouTube became a thing 2006. So I was in elementary school, but through middle school and high school, it became like a career for some people. I think it was very early on, but I think just seeing that success in people just being creative online and kind of getting recognition and just building a community of people that really was something that I yearned for.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was always very creative. And I think YouTube was like, as someone who was from Ottawa, like the easiest way to share my work.
I mean, that's kind of what I was asking about is like, was the goal, like in the back of your mind, was it ever, I would like to be a filmmaker, I would like to make TV, but YouTube's the easiest thing to do?
I think subconsciously, like, I don't even think it was, like, I feel like becoming a writer, director, making movies that were shown in theaters, like, was just something that seems like too big to even dream. But YouTube it felt very homemade. And a lot of people my age, or just a little bit older than me, were finding success on it. So it felt a little bit more attainable.
So how did you feel when you first started uploading your videos to the site?
Well, no one was watching them at first.
I know that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. I made a lot of videos with like my family and friends. So just a lot of fun. But then I think when it became real was when I graduated high school and I was at Ottawa U for marketing. Wasn't enjoying it. It just didn't feel right. And I was kind of had a moment where I was like, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? And in high school, I was voted, my high school superlative was most likely to become a YouTuber.
Most likely to become a YouTuber.
Yes.
So even then they sort of knew.
Yeah, I always loved it and always made videos for the school. So I just kind of had like a moment where I was like, if I want to make this happen, I've got to go all in. And so I just started uploading every week, and it felt like survival mode. It was just like, there's no other route. I'm going to make this happen. And so I was just posting like multiple times a week.
What's the workload to post multiple times a week?
Well, at first, because my content kind of went through different phases. Like at first I was doing like editing trailers, like genre swap trailers, because I found success in that. But then I wanted to be on camera. So then I started doing comedy videos, and those were a little bit on the go. They're easier to make. They're on the go. So I made those like twice a week. But then I didn't really feel creatively fulfilled. So I started making like movies that felt like comedy, like the Ferris Bueller-esque teen videos, which those, as time went on, became heavier and just like bigger scale.
So like hours a day, late nights.
Hours a day, and like, yeah, lots of money. Yeah, I feel like every day.
Right.
Like it's not like a 9 to 5. It was just like every day I would wake up and either editing or have to come up with the next idea.
I mean, you know why I'm trying to highlight that part,
Yes.
right? That it wasn't a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I think people will think, oh, I'll put up a 15-minute YouTube video. That's 15 minutes. No, it takes up a tremendous amount of time. When was the inflection point of it going well? When did they start to blow up?
There was like different like waves of it. But the biggest one was once I switched over to like making those cinematic teen movie style videos and my coming out video.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Really pushed me over. It went from that year, it was like 10,000 subscribers at the beginning of the year to 1 million at the end, which now that you mentioned in the intro, that's common on TikTok, but at the time that was really quick.
It was news. I remember hearing that there was a Canadian who was getting millions of views on YouTube. You know, it was a really, really big deal. It must have been exciting at a certain level.
Yes, no, for sure. I think exciting, but also like very. Maybe I'm just like an anxious person in general, but
yeah, come on, you and me here together. Don't worry about it. Yeah, couple of anxiety cases hanging out. Don't worry about it. I got you.
So like as soon as it happened, I was like, oh God, what's the next one? How am I going to top this?
And there's no joy, is there?
Exactly.
There's no joy. There's just the next thing you got to do. So you can't appreciate anything. I wonder why I do a daily radio show. Okay, so by 19, you were one of the buzziest new creators on YouTube. Each week, millions of people, as I mentioned, tuning into your channel. You go on a big tour to meet fans. Your videos are playing in festivals. From the outside, it looks to people like you're living the dream. Can you compare and contrast the dreamness of it, like how it was living a dream, versus what the reality was actually like?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I grew up watching it from the other side. Like when I was growing up watching YouTube in high school, there was like conventions and meet and greets, and the YouTubers were like the new rock stars, you know? Like I got to go on the other side of this and meet all these people that I admired growing up, and that was really cool, but also I felt such imposter syndrome. And it all happened so fast too that I felt like I wasn't able to be present and enjoy all the glamorous parts of it. Even though I really enjoyed it, I think it was really cool to be surrounded by people who kind of made the same risk as me. So that was cool. And also just to feel seen and validated by an audience and by a community of people. And I think that was something that I yearned for growing up. But in terms of like the realities of it, it was a lot of on top of, because the YouTube videos are already a lot of work, because it's like basically me writing, directing, producing, starring in these weekly episodes. And then on top of that is doing press and conventions and tours, but also dealing with criticism. I wasn't really bullied growing up, so it went from 0 to 100. I felt like I was really being put under a microscope.
Yeah,
and
I know what you mean.
As a teenager too, it was just like having people. I think I was too sensitive for it. I still am, but
No.
I am. I don't like reading comments.
But like, I was just talking about this with one of our producers just then. I said that, like, imagine if you're prone, like I am, like prone to self-criticism anyway. Like your general disposition from birth probably is prone to self-criticism. And there's an apparatus by which you can open up a video and read criticism of yourself.
Yes.
That's hard on anybody.
Yeah, and it's also like criticism in like it's like, yeah, there's some of them are like, oh, you're ugly or whatever, like the lame ones. But then there's like the criticism that feels like they're really analyzing you and like breaking you down as a person, and then like taking something that you're insecure about and then like basically providing proof that it's true, you know? It's just like,
or like you agree with them?
Yes.
Do you ever get that one?
Yep.
You read one, you're like, yeah, they're right about that.
Yep.
I am like that. That's the worst.
Yeah, that one like hurts. Yeah.
It's the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
So this stuff starts to happen, and you start to go, what? Like I need to.
Yeah, I think like I was really sheltered as a kid too. So another aspect was like I was like, this was my college year, so I started drinking and like just like experimenting a lot. And I just think I had my first panic attack on tour, and so it was just like all of these factors kind of building up to a moment where I break down.
Is that where you posted this video called Burnt Out at 19. Can I ask you about that? I know that's not easy for you to talk about.
No, for sure.
Okay, cool. So it was all about the how you were feeling trying to keep up with the demands of YouTube that you just mentioned. And you recorded yourself as your mental health was deteriorating. I watched it again. It's a pretty raw video, a powerful video. Do you remember anything about making it?
Not really. I mean, I feel like I remember it because of the video. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like when you watch childhood videos back and you're like, you think you remember it, but it's probably because you're watching a video of it. But
you don't remember because it was so intense that you sort of...
That whole period of my life, I don't remember at all, really. I remember bits and pieces, but I feel like my brain has blocked it out. I'm very open about it. I haven't watched it back. I don't like watching it back or even watching old videos in general, but specifically that one, I don't really revisit. But because I do talk about it, because I have left it up, even though I don't like it, and I feel like I cringe at like how vulnerable I was. I don't know. I think it started a very important conversation.
Yeah.
And I am proud and happy that that video and me just being honest and vulnerable did that. But yeah, it's a hard time of my life.
I mean, I guess what I'm not asking you to sort of relive that time. I think what I'm curious about is that like at that time you were very honest and you sort of become this, in my opinion, and I mean this truthfully, very courageous. You were the first person. Everyone was so excited. TV's over. You know, the world is on YouTube. And I remember you and I talking about it. And you were like, "There's no job protections for these people. There's no hours. There's no insurance. There's no benefits." And it felt like you were the first person to raise your hand and go like, "I'm really struggling." And I think I talked to you around then.
Yes.
Like, and you were talking to me. You were talking to Variety. You were talking to the Washington Post. What I'm curious about is you were talking about burnout. You were talking about being sort of destroyed by this platform. But actually, while you were talking to me, had anything really changed?
No, which was ironic. I felt like, because I feel like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and YouTube really was this like therapeutic way of me processing my feelings and just like processing my feelings and expressing myself.
Yeah.
And so that's what Burnt Out in 19 was. And yeah, I feel like the ending of that video is very much like, I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what the solution is, but yeah, this is it. And then quickly after that, I felt like, that video specifically was very press heavy. And so I felt like even YouTube, they set me up with like the head of algorithm, and we did like a series where we talked back and forth about burnout. And I don't know, I just think it was interesting because I'm like, I was the one saying yes to all these interviews and, you know, putting myself out there because I did want to talk about it, and I enjoyed being able to talk about these things that I was like keeping up inside. But I also think like in hindsight, I think there was a part of me that the biggest fear and the biggest anxiety was like, what if this all goes away? And I just felt like that's where it led me, where it was like, people want to talk to me about this? Okay, I'll talk about it. Especially at like 19 to 20, you know, it's just like, if this is what people are interested in, I'm going to talk about it. And but it added more stress, I guess.
So when do you say no more? When do you say stop? When do you like, when is the moment where you go like, hey, this YouTube thing is not the healthiest thing for me?
It was during the pandemic. I mean, everything stopped then. And I think near the end of me making YouTube videos, I made and wrote and directed my first short film. And I think that was the aha moment of like, oh, there's a way for me to create that isn't at the expense of my privacy. And I think that me being behind the camera, there's still there's a lot of creative fulfillment from that. And I think that was what I was searching for this entire time.
I'm really happy.
Thank you.
Tell me the story of Reply.
Reply it's a queer coming of age love story, and I think that is kind of the embodiment of what I was trying to do on YouTube. I think I've realized that what I want to do in terms of filmmaking is create the films I wish I had growing up. I think that definitely we are heading in that direction. There's been some great queer teen movies, but I kind of want to put my foot in the door and just show what I can make and create something that also is, because I love the coming of age genre. But I think that a lot of people maybe look down upon that genre or just teen movies in general. But I kind of want to like show my love for that genre and make it so that maybe teens like me, who like me in high school, can feel inspired and see kind of the direction that they want to head in with their filmmaking career.
Tell me what it's about. Tell me
Oh.
that. No. That I did ask that
I know,
question
I'm really
the last
bad.
time.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really bad at log lines. So
What's a log line?
it's like the one-liner pitch for
Don't do that. You don't have to do that. Oh, yeah, that happens to me sometimes. I'll meet people at parties, and I'll be like, what are you doing? I don't go to parties. I'll meet people at like things I don't want to be at. And they'll be like, what are you working on? Oh, I got a new show. And I'm like, oh, what's it about? And they'll be like, it's like Home Improvement meets Terminator. And I'm like, I don't really know if I want to be here anymore.
Well, I could give that pitch. It's like a teen movie meets Wes Anderson. Like,
that's
I don't know.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's like basically this boy, 15-year-old boy, finds his mom's tapes from the summer she turned 18 in December before she went off to college, and he makes a movie about it because he discovers something in the tapes, and that's what it's about.
Pretty good, compelling.
Thank you.
A good solid tease.
Thank you.
What's I don't know. Like, what's the feeling you have in your body talking about it versus when you're talking about your own? Like, what's the? You know what I'm asking? Like the difference between talking about this thing that you made, you were behind the camera. It's not. It's inspired by something you wanted to see. Mm-hmm. I might even say inspired by your own story in a way. I don't know, but it's not so much of you. Like, how's it been?
It's been really cool because I feel like there's been, especially after, I say my peak on YouTube was 2018, 2019, and I felt like for years after, I was kind of riding this success of this old version of myself, of this teen version of myself. And so being able to talk about work that I'm proud of now, and I feel very creatively fulfilled and proud of, it just makes me feel, I'm like understanding who I am as an adult. And I think that's something I've struggled with, to like living in the shadow of my teen self and someone I feel very distant from.
Someone told me one time is if you're not careful, you get frozen at the age you become famous.
Mm-hmm. It's very scary.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you get famous at 16, if you're not careful, you'll be 16 forever.
Yes.
If you get famous at 30, you're gonna,
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I actually I'm making a new short film. I'm filming it this December, and it's kind of about that concept. So
I just want to ask you one more question about the YouTube thing, and I really appreciate it because I know this is probably not your favorite thing to talk about, but I do really appreciate it. When you are, I'm not going to put my own feelings into it. When you open TikTok or you open Instagram Reels, when you see younger people say, the number one job dream for them is not, astronaut or, firefighter. It's YouTuber, it's influencer. What do you think when you see that kind of stuff?
I have mixed feelings. I think that a part of me sees there's a new community of people on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram who are like aspiring filmmakers or have a niche. And I think like YouTube and social media is a great way to share that. And if you can make a career out of something you love, that's beautiful. But I think there's like a jaded side of me that's just, I think that there is a shelf life on social media. It's so fast. It moves so quick. And I mean, especially now, like people become super famous and super viral, and then you never hear them like 2 months later. So I guess I hope people are cautious of that and just like are smart, especially like, I mean, there's so many YouTubers that go broke,
right. Because these are kids who get a bunch of money. They don't know what to do.
Yeah. A lot of my friends and just other people I know. So I guess it's just like, it's still fairly new, this whole social media world and, making a career out of it. So I guess those are the two feelings. It's mixed.
I heard that throughout the whole journey you've told me today, from aspiring YouTuber to someone who became an advocate against content creation, even while you were still struggling with making the content about being an advocate against content creation, to quitting, to making this beautiful film, and and sort of finding your own voice. My understanding is, as I was told, you kind of wouldn't change anything.
No, I wouldn't. I think I love who I've become through that journey. I think I needed to go through that. I'm also very grateful for the opportunities that has given me. And I'm happy that I was driven enough to allow myself to have those opportunities. Because now I'm like, yeah, I get funding for a film because of the work I've done on YouTube. And I have a community of people who are interested in seeing new work from me. So, and I've met my friends, my girlfriend, everyone. It's just like so much good came out of it. And yeah, I wouldn't change it.
I got a lot of admiration for you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
No, thank you for having me.
Congrats on the new film.
Thank you.
Looking forward to a feature.
Yeah, I mean that's the dream. Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
Telefilm?
Oh,
Give
yeah.
Elle Mills some money. You heard it here. I'm not even going to, you know how I sometimes write letters in support of that kind of stuff? This is my letter.
Yeah.
Give her some money.